Speak to me, warriors! Today on the channel, the 10,000 subscriber special, the Ultimate Warrior Top 10. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel for a very special video. We've had a lot of special videos on the channel. We've had figure tours. We've had road trips on figure hunts. We've had sweet unboxings. We've had massive hauls of He-Man, Star Wars, you name it under the sun. We had a video with my dad and the Warlord, but today is one of the most special videos we've ever done on the channel. It's the 10,000 subscriber Ultimate Warrior Top 10. I said it a few thousand ago. I said it just makes sense. 10,000 subscribers, a top 10 Ultimate Warrior list. And here we are today, ready to cut through that. And I got to thank all you guys right off the bat, as a lot of you guys obviously have subscribed to this channel. And I thank each and every one of you for joining in. And this one's going to be a fun one. This is a video that's kept me up for weeks. And a lot of people said you probably had this done ahead of time. I couldn't. I love Ultimate Warrior. You guys know he means so much to me. As a little kid, guiding my fandom of wrestling, he is what stole my heart and never let go, much like a young Rio these days. Those that know, they know. But Warrior stole my heart and just changed my life forever. I've been an Ultimate Warrior fan from the word jump in the WWF, WWE, of course, all the way to the end of his career. His intensity in the ring, the face paint, the crazy speeches and stuff that he would give in the ring, fueling the rocket ship, stuff like that. I ate that up with a fork and a spoon. I loved everything about it. I loved it to the very end. Obviously, Warrior has his haters out there. I know he said some off-color things. I try not to remember that part of the Warrior. I try to remember the part that drew me in as a little kid. The one that helped fuel my workouts in high school, in college, and after that. The one that had intensity, that would talk about business and talk about, believing in yourself, following through on goals, stuff like that. That's what I've taken for the Warrior my whole life. I've lived my life by that mantra, being dedicated, never giving up, going after it. That's what I believe in the Ultimate Warrior. It's like a state of beliefs or something like that. It almost feels like a cult leader. Not quite, but he meant a lot to me. He still means a lot to me. He always will mean a lot to me. He's my favorite of all time. I don't foresee that ever changing, and his spirit still lives on, everything like that. You guys know all that sappy stuff, but truly the Ultimate Warrior is my favorite of all time, and I understand he's not for everybody, but he is for me. Let me have my fun. Let me have my Warrior, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're going to count him down from 10 all the way to 1, and what I challenge you guys, I know there's a lot of Warrior fans out there outside of me, let's put them in order. That's the hard part. That's the challenging part. That is the fun part. We got to put them in order. And Warriors had a ton of figures. For me, maybe I'm biased, the most toyetic wrestler of all time. And we've got a lot of good ones to select through. And this was very, very challenging for me. I would move these around like chess pieces all day long. Well, this one needs to go here. I'm flip-flopping these two. Wait, I need to add this one up. I don't know. I got my list together. I don't think it's controversial. I don't know. I guess everybody agrees and disagrees with something. I'm sure this list will change in years to come as well as the Ultimate Warrior gets more figures. And the more Warrior figures, the better. No Warrior left behind. That's a mantra I try to live by, as long as my wallet can afford it at the time. We'll see. But so far, it's been working okay. But Ultimate Warrior, my favorite, the jewel, the crown of my collection. So many memories along the way. I mean, it's really my life as an adult collector all the way down to a childhood collector. I can think of times playing with these figures all the way down to the end. So it means a lot to me. I'm sure there'll be some stories as I get going. I always do these things free throwing through. I go right through whatever comes stream of conscience. That's how I do these things. And I'm sure we'll have some stories about these figures, when I found these figures, when I got these figures, things like that. So should be some fun stuff in this video. I've talked long enough. I've set the stage long enough. Let's jump into it. Let's jump into the Ultimate Warrior Top 10. All right, let's start the countdown at number 10. First, I got to tell you, I forgot to mention, please subscribe to the channel. I know a lot of you guys have. Some of you guys have not, but if you like these countdowns, you like stuff like this, every single Thursday on the channel, we're doing a top 5, or in this case, a top 10 countdown of a different wrestling figure, a different toy line, maybe a superhero figure. I got some big plans in the future, so why don't you join us, subscribe to the channel. But without further ado, let's knock it out. Let's start with number 10 Ultimate Warrior, and we're going to the Walmart exclusive flashback line, Ultimate Warrior. There he is right there, and of course, you know I got a loose version of this as well. Red, white, and blue, Patriotic Warrior. This one pops. The face, head sculpt on this one, I absolutely love. I love the red, white, and blue pattern here. I love the packaging here. I love the store exclusive. Walmart store exclusive here. Now, I know a lot of people don't like store exclusives, but store exclusives give us something that is really great. They give us a lot of Ultimate Warrior figures. If you think back to Ultimate Warrior, we get ringside exclusives, we get Walmart exclusive, Target exclusive, things like that. And why is that? Because Walmart, Target buyers that sit in the old ivory towers out there, they know the Ultimate Warrior sells. And that's a bargaining chip for the Jakks, Mattel, whoever it is. Over the years, they can say to that buyer, hey, I got a special exclusive Ultimate Warrior for you. If I can have these shelf space, if I can have this end cap, stuff like that. That's how the business works, and not just the toy business, a lot of businesses out there. I give you something exclusive, in return you help me with this. And Ultimate Warrior helps open those doors to do those kind of things. Much like a Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, you guys can think of the people. But that's the way it goes. If you came to that buyer, hey, I've got a Tucker and Otis tag team basic set or a tag team elite set or whatever, that buyer is not going to know what they're talking about, because we always believe these buyers know what they know these toys and stuff. They live these toys. They don't. They could have been in tires and wheels the week before. They know the Ultimate Warrior, though. They know Hulk Hogan. They don't know the Otis and Tuckers out there. And that's why the Ultimate Warrior is so important to store exclusives. And that's where most times you're going to find Ultimate Warrior figures in the future and in the past. But this one, so toyetic. I love the red, white, and blue. It's a little bit of a sad night, obviously. We all know what happened around this time. He's got the scepter he could break over his head. We know what happened there. Macho Man will never forgive you out there for what you did, what you costed the Ultimate Warrior. But I do love this. I love the moment in time. I love that we even got the scepter that's broken. I think that's a nice little touch there, a little Easter egg. We get the cool title belt. As we all know, Ultimate Warrior was really the one that pioneered and started the flashy title belts like this. So a lot to like about this Ultimate Warrior, and that's why he comes in at number 10. All right, we're feeling fine at number 9. And for number 9, we could have the greatest Mattel basic figure of all time. This was on a top 10 figure of the year list for me, which you do not hear from me or anyone that is a basic is in their top 10. But this happened to me a few years back with this Ultimate Warrior figure. You probably know where I'm going. We're going to Ultimate Warrior Basic 98. Now, this is the Royal Rumble Elite we've got earlier this year in 2021. They did turn this into a Elite, but this Basic actually trumps the Elite. Even though the Elite has 2 heads, all that fun stuff, but this one, when it came out, was Ultimate Warrior Mania for me. I was first shocked that they would put an Ultimate Warrior Basic at this time when, you know, he was really hammering hard in the Elite line. It had been a while since we'd have a Basic. Early on, we had a few Basic Warriors, but it had been quite some time. So to get a Basic Ultimate Warrior was a pretty cool thing. But in just knowing that Basics primarily are pretty easy to get, this Ultimate Warrior, I wouldn't say it was as hard as some of the Elites, but this was probably one of the hardest Basics to ever track down after a long while, as just a phenomenal head sculpt on this one. This is a customizer's dream. A lot of people grab this for the head sculpt, but I still like the body. Yes, it doesn't have the articulation of the Elites, and maybe I would have felt differently if that Elite would have came before this one, but just this one coming, the card art, the yellow, the head sculpt on this one, it's transcended Basics and basically put this in an Elite status in my collection and my heart like a young Rio. But I love this Ultimate Warrior, and I was so excited to see this come out. It was part of 98. I selfishly would have liked to see Ultimate Warrior in Basic 100. That was kind of the pseudonym heavy hitter line there. I felt Warrior should have been in there, but I do have a Warrior bias. I'm fully aware, but I love this Warrior, and this is the last Warrior Basic we have gotten from Mattel. I almost feel like we're due for another one, but my gut tells me Warrior's such a mover, you might as well save it for that higher price point, more money. At the end of the day, it is a business. It's a toy business. take that step back, it probably means more to put him in the elite line to make a little bit more money off him, and I'm okay with that too. Just keep the Warriors coming. So number 9 for me, Basic 98, Ultimate Warrior. All right, we've come to the number 8 spot in my Ultimate Warrior Top 10 countdown, and we've got at number 8, we go to the Jakks Classic Superstars line. My favorite line of all time, and a line that was very good to the Ultimate Warrior. Making exclusives, making Ultimate Warrior exclusives just for him, making ring giants, making all kinds of different figures. But one of the best figures Jakks ever did, and this goes throughout the whole line, is the Ultimate Warrior Classic Superstars Series 12. And of course, I have a loose version right here. There he is, Ultimate Warrior in the duster. Now, I will say, playability-wise, I never liked this one with the arms. It's kind of the way it is there. But what was so cool about this Ultimate Warrior, as you can see right here, he had a variant, and it was so cool. And this is the first time I can ever remember something like this done in a toy line of wrestling figures especially, but I think maybe all toy lines, was a variant with a backward pose to show off the intricate detail of this jacket. This jacket duster Warrior wear. They didn't want all the, Warrior just being front-faced here. Nothing wrong with that Warrior, of course. Looks good, looks great, but the back of this one, as you can see right here, that back of that duster is just next level. And I remember being so shocked pulling these out of a case and seeing the variants. Now, my memory tells me that these were done, I didn't know these were coming. I pulled them out of Toys R Us and I thought this was just a strange error, something wrong. And then I went and researched it and found out online, no, this was the way it was supposed to be. And for a while, this backwards variant Ultimate Warrior was commanding an insane amount of money on eBay. Now, I was just a young kid right out of college. I had no money. I didn't have 2 pennies to squeeze together, or whatever the saying is. I could have very easily sold this, but I couldn't do it. I said, no way am I selling this Ultimate Warrior. And I could have used that money, but no. I needed the Ultimate Warrior in my collection a whole lot more. I then tracked this one down very easily. This one wasn't very hard to find. I mean, it was popular, of course, but this is back in the heyday of Classic Superstars when they would hit a couple of times, unlike at the end where one case done, moved on to the next one. You could find this Warrior with a little bit of patience and a little bit of searching around, but this one always remained a little bit harder, and I had a couple of these in my collection, and of course I have a loose one in my collection as well, which is what it is, but absolutely love this one. I thought this was where they really took Warrior to the next level at Jakks Class Superstars and really going all out for his duster, giving him the variant of the packaging, which was something really cool, a nice surprise. It's really something I'd like to see in this day and age. There's a lot of wrestlers that have great gear out there. Maybe show it off. Maybe do a little bit Ultimate Warrior on a nice jacket or a nice coat or a nice duster. Or, we saw it later on with Finn Balor, showing the back of Finn Balor in a package as the Demon. So Mattel took some notes from this Ultimate Warrior, and it's something I hope continues in the future. But we'll see. We'll see. But I absolutely have a special spot for this one. Finding it in my stores, being surprised at him being backwards, just really cool, and I'll never forget that for sure. And that's why this Ultimate Warrior Jakks Class Superstars Series 12 comes in at number 8 for me. All right, we continue on at number 7, and number 7 was a special one out there. It was right at the end of my playing days, or am I still playing? Do I have big Royal Rumbles, World War IIIs in my house to this day? You'll never know. But at the end of my playing days, in about 1995, 96, somewhere in there, I would still dabble out there, but I was turning more into that adult collector. I wasn't playing, doing that kind of stuff. As if you guys remember, if you were there, the Hasbros ended in the early 90s. After that, the Bendhams kind of took over, and I was all out. I wanted nothing to do with the Bendhams. Bendhams just were not for me, so I just passed on that, and I kept playing with my Hasbros and my LJNs. But then something happened. One day, my dad and I were walking into Toys R Us, and what did we run into? Bone Cruncher Series 1, and I remember just being shocked seeing these on the pegs, these new wrestling figures that felt like they were in between an LJN and a Hasbro, size-wise at least, but had that rubber kind of feeling as the LJN out there with movable parts, movable pieces. I said, oh my gosh, these are so playable compared to what I've been playing with all this time. So swooped up that first set. Had to do that. You guys know how that went. But there was something missing. I said, what's missing? What's missing? Well, Series 2, that missing hole in my heart was filled, as Series 2 gave us the Ultimate Warrior. Yes, Ultimate Warrior, of course. That's what was needed. And as a kid, I picked this bad boy up. I said, this is amazing. An Ultimate Warrior articulation, can do stuff. It really reinvigorated a kid to play with his toys when he was too old to be playing with his toys, because this Ultimate Warrior was so cool. He had to be the world champion. I had to take it to him. He was taking on Diesel, Razor, HBK, the Click was running wild, and the Ultimate Warrior was running wild through them. So it was an exciting time. Of course, I had him in on card one as well. Even got the Walmart tag on this one still. $4.96, Department 7. I'm trying to remember if Department 7 is still toys at Walmart. I know 82, I believe, is the registers, the check lanes. Maybe that is right. I think it might still be Department 7, the toy aisle. But Warrior number 7 with me. We got a repainted HBK. We got the glow-in-the-dark Undertaker in Series 2. We got Bret Hart. We got Vader. We got Owen. And of course, we got the Warrior. Not the coolest Ultimate Warrior figure ever. Not the most toyetic Warrior ever. One of only 2 Jakks Bone Crunchers he got. He was part of a box set. We got a repainted green version. Doesn't kind of hold the same magic for me. But what is magical is the memories with this one. Seeing it on the pegs. Being a little bit too old in my mind to be playing with toys, but having to pick this up because it's the Ultimate Warrior. He's my favorite of all time. Being surprised at this being on the shelf. You got to go back to 96. It wasn't a lot of internet going on, and you know, it was such a new age, and I wasn't looking for wrestling figures online. I think 96, the year this came out, was the year I finally got internet, and yeah, it just wasn't about that, I guess, at that time. You had the old dial-up. If you were there, you were there. You young kids, you got it lucky, but this Ultimate Warrior is more about a piece in time and a memory, and that's what this video series top 10 is about. Sometimes the figure could be almost god-awful, but if your memory is there with it, it counts as part of it. That's why this one's at number 7 for me, where I can see some people leaving this off the list if you're going by pure looks of a figure, articulation, paint, and stuff like that, because by no means is this you know, a Michelangelo painting brought to life or anything like that. But it is Ultimate Warrior. It does hold a special place to me, and that's why this one is at number 7. All right, we've come to the number 6 selection in my Ultimate Warrior top 10. There's a little bit of a story with this one. This is truly one of those times in your life, we all have them, where there's a fork in the road. Which way you're going to go in your life, and a lot of your life changes because of just one simple decision and one simple set of circumstances that lead you to the point you're at. But let me tell you about this one. You guys all know 2010, Jakks lost their license to make WWE figures. Mattel swooped in, and I said, you know what? It's probably a good time to call it quits. Because 2010, I did get married in 2010. My wife and I had been together maybe 7 years before we got married. You know, it was time to get married. It was time to settle down. 2011, our daughter came, Elle, our first daughter. And I walked away from action figure collecting outside of the G.I. Joe Collectors Club, which was also coming to its end. So I was like, you know, this is the time for me to be done collecting. It was a part of my life I really enjoyed. I'm glad I didn't sell my Jakks Class Superstars, because I did sell a lot of figures around that time, but I didn't sell those. And I said, this is just the natural next chapter of my life. I'm really honing in my work life. I'm married. I have a kid. Priorities, you guys, I'm sure some of you people live this same thing every day. I'm no different than anybody else out there. But then we went to dinner, and we had to go to dinner one night, and I think it was a Mexican restaurant. And right next to that Mexican restaurant was a Big Lots. And I said, well, we went to the Mexican restaurant. They said, 25, 30-minute wait. That's fine. Okay, let's just walk that Big Lots just for fun, you know? I'm sure you guys have done this as well. You're just killing time, seeing a store, checking it out while you wait for your dinner reservation. So I'm going around this junky Big Lots. A lot hasn't changed with Big Lots. They're junky as ever. But I went to the toy aisle because I always still went to the toy aisle. I always like to look at stuff. You got that hunter's heart. You never give up. You might not be buying, but it's still fun to check it out and see what's going on. But here I am. This is 2011 or so, give or take, somewhere in there. And I go to the toy aisle, and I stand there, and there's a shining light. And I'm just staring there. And I see something. And it really did change my life forever. It sat there, and there's where that fork comes in. And there was 2 ways I could go. And I saw it. What did I see? Well, I saw 2 things that day. But number 6 for me, Series 6 Legends Ultimate Warrior. Or depending how you want to call it, we'll put this out here right now. The Lost Legends Ultimate Warrior. If you guys know, the wrist tape is what settles the difference between the two. But at the end of the day, an amazing figure, of course, WrestleMania 6 Ultimate Warrior. But I sat there and I saw this Ultimate Warrior, then I looked behind him, I saw Legends Series 4 Ultimate Warrior. Not quite as toyetic, not as quite as breathtaking as this one, but still an Ultimate Warrior. And I also saw the Iron Sheik there. Ah, old Sheiky baby, hanging out. But I was sitting there and I was looking, it was like a golden glow coming from this Ultimate Warrior, and I said, oh my gosh, it just took my breath away. It really did. And I love the Ultimate Warrior, you guys know that. I set that up. I have such deep love for him. And I was out. I had my feet out. I was trying not to pay attention to what Mattel was doing, and I really wasn't. I wasn't following nowhere near like I am now. I would see some stuff here and there at the stores, but this Ultimate Warrior, I see it on there and it's glowing. And I just sat there with the devil and the angel. You guys have seen it in my Friday figure hunting videos. We have it every once in a while. And I just sat there and I remember just staring. My wife, she's out looking at makeup or something like that. And I'm just looking at this Ultimate Warrior and I'm just looking. And little did I know, that moment of my life really set the tone for the rest of my life, or up to this point, I should say. Because I'm sitting there, I'm looking at this Ultimate Warrior figure, and I'm like, I need to get this. I really need this. And oh my gosh, they have like 4 of each one. I need one to open. I need one on card. It's like the old Jax days with Classic Superstars. But I'm just telling myself, I'm just going to get the Ultimate Warriors. That's okay. If I just get the Ultimate Warrior, I get the Series 4, I get 2 of those, get 2 of these. And I should mention they were $8. $8, Big Lots, a little cheaper, especially back then. I said, oh my gosh, I got to get these. So I convinced myself right then and there. That was truly a turning point in my life, as you can imagine. And then I said, you know what, I better get that Iron Sheik too, just because he's hanging out there. And then I went and put him in the car. We went and ate. But the whole time we're eating, you know, I'm talking to my wife, but in my head I'm thinking, man, those figures look so cool. I can't wait to get home to open it up, see what it's really about. Because up to that point, I hadn't held an Elite in my hand, in person, out of the package, of course. I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, gosh, I just can't wait. I was like, oh, I wonder who else they have. And then I saw, oh yeah, they have Kerry Von Erich. And oh my gosh, Texas Tornado, I loved him. I'm just sitting there. And the Devil Angel, and I'm sitting there convincing myself. I'm sure you guys have done this too. And then by the time I get home and I get the Warrior out of the package, I said, you know what? I'm going to get just the Legends. I'm going to get the Legends. And then all of a sudden you start dabbling and you see some other current guys you like. Oh, that's a pretty toyetic figure. Oh, I really should get that Chavo Guerrero Jr. That figure looks really cool with the duster on and stuff like that. And then it starts snowballing. And then my daughter starts to get a little older and likes to enjoy watching wrestling with me. I'm sure you guys that have kids out there know, hey, when your kids start taking interest in things you like, oh, she needs to get every single wrestling figure. That's what she needs to do. She needs every single one. Then you start buying for her, but you're really buying for yourself, and you're convincing yourself, and it starts snowballing. And just a couple of years later, I said, we're still early enough. Guess what? Old Kyle, he's going all in. I'm going to get every single Elite ever, and that's what I have done. I have every single Elite that's been ever made. I got every exclusive, store exclusive, all that kind of stuff, everything. I have all the Elites. I have it, and that's what snowballed it. Where would I have been if I didn't have that restaurant 25-minute wait and we wouldn't have went into that Big Lots? Would I be here where I am now? Would I have a YouTube channel? Would I be collecting wrestling figures still? It's just a lot comes to pivotal moments in your life. At the grand scheme of things, this isn't quite as pivotal as the first day your kids were born, or the day you got married, or the day you met your wife or husband or whoever. But there's certain times, certain career moves, certain changes you've done that just really bring things to the next level and really change the course of your life forever. And I gotta say, this one did that for me. And this was my Warrior for a long time. I really did. In this time frame, this was my favorite Ultimate Warrior. If I would have done this list back then, this probably would have been #1. Years have passed, still special to me. I remember going to a huge job interview. I ended up having 8 interviews before all was said and done. And this was my good luck charm in my briefcase that I brought along to every one of those interviews. And I still say the power of the Ultimate Warrior got me through those 8 grilling interviews. If you've ever sat in a hardcore interview, you're in your suit and tie and you got like 6 people here just taking turns grilling you one after another. It's intense. It's intense, and it's the intensity of the Warriors. But this Warrior, I guess we have to have this Warrior to thank for this YouTube channel, for my collection, for my collecting these days. It all comes down to the Ultimate Warrior Series 6. So a special one for me. It'll always be special, and it comes in at #6. So let's take a look at #5. All right, we're at the halfway point. We're at the #5 Ultimate Warrior of all time as voted by me. Remember to put yours in the comments down below. And now we go back to the 80s. Ah, great time. End of 80s, early 90s, a magical time in wrestling. Ultimate Warrior Mania running wild. You were Team Warrior, you were Team Hogan. Not a lot of people in the middle. I wore my Warrior proud. I was in, remember, 4th grade pictures. I was supposed to wear a different shirt to our school pictures. I got to school. I took that shirt off. I put my Ultimate Warrior shirt on like any good kid would do. So I've been repping the Warrior as a long time, long time, as you guys know, from the get-go, and never changed. But Ultimate Warrior, the 90s, you were Team Warrior, you were Team Hogan. I was one of the few in my friend circles. Everybody was Hogan. I was Ultimate Warrior. I always talk about that story at WrestleMania 6 where I was all Warrior and everybody was saying there's no way he's going to beat Hogan, and man, you couldn't wipe that smile off my face Monday morning when we went to school, and I'm just, well, who knows the most about wrestling? Who's the wrestling expert at this school? I told you, Ultimate Warrior. Oh, you can just imagine the fun I had rubbing in everyone's face. The Ultimate Warrior was now the champion of the world, and still the champion to this day in my heart. But around that time, another thing hit. We had Hasbros. Now, I was a lover of the LJNs. Those were the first wrestling figures I ever had. I loved playing with them. I remember playing with Hasbros and LJNs, not together, but separately. I had different fig feds going on. I always say I was of the best age for wrestling figures because I grew up with the LJNs. I grew up with the Hasbros, and then I felt the early part of the BCAs, the Bone Crunchers. Some of the best lines, playability-wise, of all time, and just imagination-wise and everything else. Titantrons, R3s, just hot garbage. You're never going to see any of those on any list of mine. I'm just not a fan. Obviously, the elites and everything of today's age is amazing. There's a lot of articulation, but it's almost like too much. You don't have to use that imagination. It was just a different time, and I'm sure I've got blinders on from my age bracket and all that kind of stuff. But coming in hot, Hasbro. They came in to take the place of LJNs. I remember being disappointed at first because I loved LJNs. I just absolutely loved playing with them. And then I saw these are so much smaller. It's not as fun, but the bright colors, the cool TV commercials, it all won me over. And then the one day you go into Toys R Us with your dad and you see the wall of Hasbros. Oh, sign me up. I'm a Hasbro guy now. That's exactly how it goes. And where I'm going to Hasbro #1 Ultimate Warrior. By no means the most toyetic Ultimate Warrior of all time, but really firing off a new line of collectability, a new collection, a new golden age of wrestling figure collecting was this line with Hasbro. The Jake was great. Jake was around. Hogan, of course. Demolition, but Warrior was the one I wanted. Now, I remember being disappointed right off the bat with the Ultimate Warrior a little bit. I got to be honest. I remember looking at the package. I said, why are his legs stuck together? I don't like that. And I know some people don't like that he had his belt on. That never bothered me. But his legs and the jumper, and we didn't know they were jumpers. We thought this is Ultimate Warrior. This is how he is. Then, of course, the rockers come and other figures come in this pose. And I'm not a fan of that pose. I am not a fan. But this one is one of those sentimental ones. I remember opening this up for my birthday with the rest of Series 1. Just so many hours of playing with the ring. Of course, you had to get the ring with the figures. Having so many matches with just that Series 1 guys. That's all we had at the time. And just using your imagination, doing so much, having so much fun. I remember carrying all my wrestlers in the ring, and I'd take it to my grandma's, and I'd sit down and play with it. Just carrying them around wherever I went. I mean, and then you got Series 2, 3, 4, so on. And you just kept adding to it. And it was just like Christmas every day playing with these figures. And that's why this one was so special. In the heart, the prime of my playing days, this Ultimate Warrior, because it was the only Ultimate Warrior at the time, he was the champion. He was running roughshod. I loved the colors, of course. This was 90s neon madness. This is what it was about. And this Warrior will never lose this title here. He is permanently displayed with this title belt for me for the rest of his life and my life as long as I own this figure. So that's a special one, and that's why Warrior #1 Hasbro comes in at #5 on my top 10 list. All right, we're at #4 on our Ultimate Warrior top 10 list, of course, as voted by me. Make sure you put yours down below. But at #4, we go back to Hasbro. Which way are we going to go? Ultimate Warrior #2? Ultimate Warrior #3? Any guesses at home? Well, for #4, we're going to Ultimate Warrior #3. This is, spoiler alert, this is my favorite Hasbro Ultimate Warrior of all time. That second one, it was in the Hulk Hogan Gorilla Press pose. Just never did anything for me. Of course I had to have it. Of course I played with it. I used that and the other Ultimate Warrior. I would switch them in and out depending on what I wanted to do. But once the third version of the Ultimate Warrior came through right here, it pretty much set the fate of, from now on, this is the Ultimate Warrior I'm using in my playing days. This had everything I wanted. This was an Ultimate Warrior that wasn't stuck in a jumper pose, wasn't stuck in that press slam pose. This was a warrior I could do clotheslines with, I could do punches with, forearms, flying shoulder tackles. You could do a lot more with this warrior than the other two. And I'm so thankful we got this warrior, just because I needed a playing warrior. I needed a perfect playing warrior. There was a lot of good figures in the Hasbro, and there was a lot that were terrible playability-wise. You know, there's Ric Flair, the Rick Rude, a lot of the jumpers, of course. But this Ultimate Warrior, the Mr. Perfect, the Jerry Sags in later life, and some of these other ones had such great playability. Hulk Hogan #3 especially was a great one, and that Hogan and this warrior squared off many a times in my childhood figure fed. But this one was just so great. And it had the new, you know, the bounding, whatever, I forget, the stomping foot pounding action that we also saw with Skinner and Giant Gonzalez. I like this one. I just like this one. From the word go, I was so happy it was here, and that's why forever this will be my favorite Hasbro, and possibly one of the figures I played with the most of any line of all time. Ultimate Warrior, the third Ultimate Warrior from Hasbro, comes in at number 4 on my top 10 list. All right, we're to the number 3 spot on my Ultimate Warrior countdown, and I gotta say, this figure is probably the most emotional figure of all time. Definitely in the wrestling headspace, but possibly ever. I don't get emotional about figures, really, but when I saw this one for the first time, when the promo images were released by Mattel, just what this represented and what this showed, it just really took my breath away, and it still takes my breath away to this day. It's just such a special figure, and I don't know if there'll ever be something this emotional as far as a figure goes ever in the history of figures. Definitely probably not for me, maybe one of you guys out there, but this one I'm talking about, you probably know where I'm going. Legends Series 8, the Target exclusive Ultimate Warrior, and I even brought 2 loose ones. I have 2 loose ones displayed differently with this one. You know, obviously, first off, getting an Ultimate Warrior older, suited, you get this mask, the little mask glasses, which is a beautiful touch, a beautiful duster, beautiful suit. The finger point, you guys know I love a finger point, of course I do. But just getting this on here to reenact that scene on that night that just, I don't know, it's just one of those things, that night is that forever put into my brain. Just that impassionate speech, him finally making good, making amends, going into the Hall of Fame, then coming out on Raw, basically for a goodbye speech that we didn't know was a goodbye speech, and this is the power of that speech. You know, I know some people don't agree with the Ultimate Warrior, but when he wants to, and he wants to put out a speech out there, I mean, he commands an audience. It's powerful. It's motivational. It changes your life. I mean, it really does. It seems so weird, but I just love the Ultimate Warrior. You guys know that. I can't put my words into this one quite. If you really want to see, go back and search the review I did on this one. I almost got choked up, and I never get choked up. I mean, I don't, but this one really did that for me. It's just such a moment in time. I'll never forget that night. And I remember I don't usually stay up late. I get up extremely early for work. It's a long work day, especially at that time, a different time of my life. But for whatever reason, I was up late, and I remember that news coming extremely late that night that he had died, and there was things, and I was like, this got to be a joke. This can't be true. This can't be true. And just being heartbroken. And then all the news reports. I mean, wrestlers die a lot. I mean, baseball players die a lot. There's a lot of athletes that die. But the Ultimate Warrior was on the news. He was on all my local news. He was on the nightly news. He was on the CNNs and the Fox Newses and stuff. I mean, this is a death that transcended. It really affected a generation, especially people like me that were a huge Ultimate Warrior fan. I mean, and just to get this in action figure form, to get this night, to forever remember that speech, forever remember that moment in time, and just what the Ultimate Warrior meant to me, to get that in figure form, and to get this like this. I mean, it truly was the beginning of no warrior left behind for me. And ever since, I felt like I could never leave this Ultimate Warrior on the pegs. It was just such a special figure. I really feel everybody should have this figure, which I know is not possible, but I bought so many of these. I have a stockpile of them in a box somewhere, and I don't normally do that, but something about this figure calls to me, and it just really was. There's a few times where people die in your life, and you don't know them, but they just made such an impact on you. It's just such a punch to the gut, and you just don't know what to do. You don't know how to act, and that was when the Ultimate Warrior died for me, when Lemmy died for me. I mean, there's a few moments in times that does that, and you're just totally taken aback. And That's what happened with his Ultimate Warrior. So to get this in figure form, to get what this represents, the moment of his career, the Hall of Fame, the farewell speech, it's just quite the caption. And I don't know if I can explain it in words, but this one means so much to me out there. And that's why he's very high on my list, down to number 3, of course. It's just that special of a figure. So number 3 for me, Legends Series 8, Ultimate Warrior. All right, we're down to the final 2, and the final 2 are a little bit more happy. That was such a somber one. I couldn't have that in the top 2. As much as that figure means to me, as much as I love that figure, it was the 2020 figure of the year for me. There's happier ones out there. And number 2 for me is the greatest Mattel Elite of all time from the Ultimate Warrior. Of course, for me, that's what we're doing in this list here. But when this one came out, it definitely took me back to being a kid, because this is one of the most iconic looks to the Ultimate Warrior that I would think most people wouldn't say this is an iconic look, but a lot of people, when they see it, or at least I do, I guess this is my list, this is how I see it. When I see this one, when I close my eyes and think of Ultimate Warrior, I think of the green trunks and stuff like that. You know, the really, basically the Hasbro brought to life. I think of that one, of course. But I also think of this one. I think of the Target Hall of Fame exclusive. I remember seeing the promo picture of that Ultimate Warrior with his hair slicked back, holding his arms out, just jacked as he could possibly be. That one was just such an iconic look for the Ultimate Warrior. We didn't see it a lot. It wasn't one that was iconic that he wrestled in a ton, but it was such a drastic change without being a drastic change. The muscles were there, the title belt was there, the face paint was there, but just him simply brushing his hair back in this pose just felt like it was a different Ultimate Warrior. This was taking Ultimate Warrior to the next level. He was meaning more business than he'd ever meant business before. He's ready to go. And maybe this was part of the reason, I don't know if my timeline's right, maybe this fueled hey, you know, there's 2 or 3 different Ultimate Warriors out there. You remember that? I remember having to fight that rumor in elementary back in the day all the time. No, there's only one Ultimate Warrior. But the looks of this one, the colors, the great neon colors, all the different colors, the yellow, the orange, the red, the purple, the blues, and then the hair slick back, and the white title belt, which was always so cool. Just an awesome one. And when this came out as a Hardy exclusive, I couldn't jump on this one fast enough. And I have, I think, 4 of these throughout my collection. I remember my Target, for whatever reason, if you remember these Hall of Champions, they were immediately $8. They weren't $20. There was a lot of Targets that had that glitch going on. And I remember I went to 3 Targets to get all these, and they all rang it up at $8. It was an amazing time. Quite the value, as I would have probably paid $108 for this Ultimate Warrior. But for $8, I'll take it all day long, and that's part of the reason I have 4 of them. One cool thing about this one is, if you guys remember, the first release of this Ultimate Warrior, he has 2 warriors on his trunks. The later release has 3, so this one's a little bit more rare out there. It's a very, very small variant, but it is a variant nonetheless, so I do find that to be fairly interesting. And I have a mint-on-card version of this with the 3, and I have one with the 2 as well. But I just love this Ultimate Warrior. It's just so powerful. It's such a different look, but not that different, but just such a powerful look for the Ultimate Warrior. So that's why this one, the Hall of Fame Target exclusive, is number 2. Now we turn our attention to number 1. What is going to be Kyle's number 1 Ultimate Warrior of all time? All right, the time has come. We're here. The number 1 Ultimate Warrior figure of all time, as voted by me. It's time to let the cat out of the bag. And maybe some of you guys can guess this one. Maybe you can't, but let me set the stage. It's another one of those story ones. Way back in the day when I was a kid, I'm sure this will lead you to where it's going. I was playing with my LJNs, of course, and my Hasbros. But right at the end, there was a crazy time period where the LJNs were off the streets. They were off the streets in America, and a company called Grand Toys, which I didn't know anything about it as a kid, they took over the LJN molds and released a set. So maybe some people would say these aren't technically LJNs, but I call it as an LJN. But in 1989, I got this one, and now I can't remember if it was my birthday or Christmas. I'm pretty sure it was my birthday. My birthday in 89, if you guys ever got Pro Wrestling Insider, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, Wrestling Insider, all that kind of stuff ringside, there was always promotions for LJNs in the back of the magazine. You could order them through the mail, like an old school Amazon, basically, and you would wait, and you would wait. I could tell stories, and we'll do it sometime, about me bugging the UPS guy. But I ended up getting the Black Card series for my 9th birthday. There was one I didn't get, was Ravishing Rick Rude. Even as a child, I said, what am I going to do with this? I don't need this one. There's nothing I could do, which even boggles my mind. But even as a kid, I knew that Ravishing Rick Rude was worthless. But what I knew I needed, there was no doubt in my mind. I remember the excitement of running to my parents saying, oh my gosh, I have to have this. Can you believe this? Look at this. Look at this. And that was the Ultimate Warrior LJN. The first Ultimate Warrior figure ever. If you can imagine how this changed my playing days when Ultimate Warrior entered into the LJN collection. He immediately won every single title. I don't know if he ever lost a match for me. And I treated my LJNs with so much respect as a kid. There was never a smudge on my Ultimate Warrior. He was majestic. It was my crown jewel of action figures. It was my favorite action figure. Him and Flint were my favorite action figures as a kid. Still to this day, obviously he's number 1 in my list. This Ultimate Warrior just stole my heart and never let go. And the amount of time I spent playing with this figure. And then I did a foolish thing in like 1998, 99. I sold my entire toy collection. One of, if not the biggest regrets of my life. We'll tell that story one day as well on the channel. I sold this Ultimate Warrior, and truly a piece of me had been gone ever since. And then 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know what it's been, not even that long, maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Gosh, I don't even know time. What is it anymore with the COVID years? Maybe it was 2 years ago when I decided to go back. I said, I need to get my LJN collection. I need to get the whole thing. And this was actually before that because I said, you know what? I need that Ultimate Warrior. And that's where I was going to stop. But this helped me snowball into everything else. But I found this Ultimate Warrior in my local toy store. A fairly good price at the time. An amazing price now if you compare this. As the black cards, as we all know, extremely rare, extremely hard to find. Then finding them in good condition, all that kind of stuff. With the LGNs, as we know, they do smudge up pretty good. I knew I had to have this, and I had to have it back in my collection, and I did that. And just the day I brought this home, I didn't get emotional, but I got emotional. I didn't cry, there was no tears, but I remember just sitting here, just holding the toy, and just thinking to myself, like, this just takes me back to being a kid and your simpler lives, your simpler times, and all you had to worry about was going to school, and you'd go home and you'd play with your wrestling figures all night. You'd watch wrestling on TV. You'd watch the cartoons you love. Just how good life was back then. And I'm one of the rare individuals in life that you always hear people say, man, I wish I could go back when I was a kid. I didn't know how good I had it. I always knew how good I had it. I knew how much I enjoyed at an early age playing with my toys, and how there was nothing more I wanted to do back then was play with my toys. And I loved it during the time, and I look back so fondly. Some of my fondest memories in my life are spending time with my G.I. Joe aircraft carrier, setting up my G.I. Joe wars, playing with my wrestling figures, playing with my Transformers, Star Wars, whatever. I truly knew how good I had it in the moment. And that's one thing that I think in life, we don't take the time to know how good you have it in the moment. And I always try to do that. Still to this day, I try to have fun in everything I do. Even with an extremely stressful job that kills a lot of people. And I'm not joking, it does. And I still take time to enjoy things. And even if you're having a bad day, you know, hey, well, I'm on my way home from work. Guess what? There's that Target. There's always that action figure hunt around the corner. There's always something, you know, I'm going to get home. My kids are going to be happy. We're having pizza tonight. Whatever that is. And that's kind of where that Ultimate Warrior fits in for me. I hold this, I touch this, it just transports me back to my childhood on old Pearl Drive. It's going down Vine, my dad might say. Cheap pop for my dad there. It just takes me back to those magical moments. This Ultimate Warrior is front row worthy, definitely in my LJN collection. I have it there when I sit on my couch over here and I'm watching TV. This Ultimate Warrior is always in my line of sight, right off to the side in the detolf, and it always brings a smile on my face. It always will. And I'm so happy I have this. One day, you know what? I don't have many grails out there that I really want to get, and I'm just thinking of it right now. You know what? I need to get this Ultimate Warrior mint on card. One of these days, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get a nice minty Ultimate Warrior in a nice protective case. I think this one is special enough for me that it needs to happen. And I will do that one day. And I just realized that goal right now. And I don't know, for you guys that know me, I'm very goal driven. I'll find a way. I'll make it happen. I just got to. I got to get this Ultimate Warrior in my collection. But if I had to choose, I'd definitely have a loose one, because you can touch it, you can feel it, you can smell it. It just is. It's my childhood represented in action figure form, and that's pretty special to me. And I don't know if I can convey that message. You know, I'd like to convey it to my kids and tell them. I don't know if they can understand it. I don't know if you guys can understand it. But for me, this represents a lot for me. So there you go. So that's it. That's the Ultimate Warrior. The #1 Ultimate Warrior of all time for me. The LJN version. Truly special. All these figures are special. Every Ultimate Warrior figure is special. No warrior left behind is the mantra. He is truly my favorite wrestler of all time, and just such great memories involved with the Ultimate Warrior for me. But we'll turn it to you guys. What do you guys think? Put the comments down below. Give me your top 10 Ultimate Warriors of all time. You know, put them in order. That's what I always say. That's the challenging part. Nobody's list is wrong. It's your list. That's why it's your list. But put your list down below. Any comments, anything you have to say in there, please put it in there. Make sure you like this video. This was a long time coming. This one deserves the likes. If you haven't subscribed yet, you should subscribe because this one deserves the subscribes. We're talking Ultimate Warrior here, guys. My favorite. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, of course. Follow me on social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, Instagram, _Kyle_Peterson, of course, ProWrestlingTees.com. If you want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Pick up a t-shirt. I wish I could have an Ultimate Warrior t-shirt with my face paint. How cool would that be? I'd even wear that one. So there you go. But that's it. That's the end of the video here. The Ultimate Warrior Top 10 comes to a close. Thank you all for watching. Thanks everyone that subscribed and followed me on the channel here. We've done a lot here in about a year and a half. Hopefully we can keep growing. Hopefully we continue. Hopefully some good stuff that you guys are really going to enjoy in the future as we look to the future. So there it is, the Ultimate Warrior Top 10. I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.